It's 11 p.m. You're lying in bed running mental math that never seems to work out. You got the degree, you got the job, you even got the promotion. And yet here you are quietly wondering whether the car payment and the electric bill can both clear this week without that awkward shuffle between bank accounts. If that sounds familiar, it's not really a you problem. It's a trap problem. Here's the thing nobody explains about money in the middle class. People don't usually go broke because of one huge catastrophic decision. They go broke because of 20 completely normal decisions all happening at the same time. The car payment that seemed reasonable. The house the bank said you could afford. Subscriptions you barely notice. Retirement contributions you keep meaning to start later. Individually, every one of those feels harmless. Together, they quietly drain the money that should have been building your future. My name is James, and today we're going to walk through these traps one by one. Not to lecture you, but because you cannot escape something you cannot see. And once you see these patterns, you start noticing them everywhere. Let's start with the one that feels the least dangerous: lifestyle inflation. This one feels like a reward, which is exactly why it's so powerful. You get a raise after working hard for years. Naturally, you upgrade a few things, maybe a nicer apartment, a slightly better car. You stop buying the store brand groceries. You go out more often. Coupons feel like something from your past life. And it all feels fine because technically you are making more money. What most people don't realize is that their savings rate never changes. They're still saving the same small amount they were before the raise. Statistics show this clearly. Over a third of Americans earning more than $100,000 still live paycheck to paycheck. Even households earning $500,000 sometimes report feeling financially stretched. The lifestyle simply expands to match the income. Imagine you receive a $15,000 raise and quietly absorb it into your lifestyle. If instead you invested the extra $1,200 a month at around 8% for 25 years, that alone could grow to over $1 million. Not from a lucky investment, just from not letting your spending automatically grow with your income. A simple rule helps here. Whenever your income increases, save at least half of the raise before you get used to it. Spend the other half if you want, but that first half determines whether you build wealth or just stay busy. Now let's talk about the driveway. Picture an ordinary suburban street. Nice houses, clean lawns, families living normal lives. And in nearly every driveway sits a truck or SUV that has never once left pavement. Most of those vehicles are financed. The average new car payment in the United States is now around $772 per month. 1 in 5 buyers pays over $1,000 monthly for a depreciating asset. To make those numbers feel manageable, loan terms have stretched to 6 or even 7 years. That means you're still making payments when the car is already 7 years old. It gets worse. A significant percentage of people trading in cars actually owe more than the car's worth. The negative balance simply gets rolled into the next loan. The payment resets, but the debt never really disappears. Someone who always has a car payment versus someone who buys reliable used vehicles and invests the difference can end up nearly $800,000 apart over a lifetime. That truck in the driveway isn't a personality trait. It's a retirement plan going in reverse. Credit cards are another trap hiding in plain sight. Total U.S. credit card debt recently passed $1.1 trillion, with average interest rates above 22%. Nearly half of cardholders carry balances month after month. If someone holds $11,000 in credit card debt and only pays the minimum at that interest rate, it can take more than 20 years to clear the balance. They might repay almost $29,000 for purchases they barely remember. The psychology behind this is fascinating. When the minimum payment appears on a statement, people treat it like the goal instead of the floor. Remove that number and people automatically pay much more. The system isn't designed to help you escape that quickly. It's designed to keep the interest flowing as long as possible. If you can't pay the balance this month, you probably can't afford the purchase. Next comes the biggest purchase most people ever make: housing. The median home price recently crossed roughly $435,000. At current mortgage rates, the monthly payment before taxes and insurance sits around $2,900. Once you add everything else, property taxes, insurance, maintenance, you're closer to $3,500 a month. Comfortably supporting that payment requires about $110,000 in household income, yet the median household income is closer to $80,000. And here's where the trap appears. The bank might approve you for more than you expected. It feels like validation. But banks approve loans based on whether you can technically make the payments, not whether the payment leaves room for a comfortable life. Hidden ownership costs average around $15,000 per year. Roof repairs, appliance failures, property taxes, and the inevitable moment when the air conditioner breaks during the hottest weekend of summer. The approval letter never mentioned those. Buying less house than the bank approves you for is one of the smartest financial decisions most people never make. Another expensive misunderstanding involves life insurance. At some point, an enthusiastic agent might suggest a product that combines life insurance with a savings component. It sounds responsible, two benefits in one policy. But commissions for selling these policies can exceed the entire first year of premiums. For a healthy 35-year-old seeking $500,000 in coverage, term life insurance might cost around $30 to $50 per month. Whole life insurance offering the same death benefit can cost $500 or more monthly. The investment portion usually grows slowly, often around 1 to 3% annually. If you instead buy term insurance and invest the difference in a low-cost index fund over decades, the difference can reach hundreds of thousands of dollars. Simple often beats complicated. Let's consider a realistic household. We'll call them the Millers. They earn $110,000 per year combined. After taxes, they bring home about $6,800 monthly. Their mortgage costs $3,100. Two car payments add $700. Student loans cost $450. Daycare for two children runs $2,000 per month. Groceries, utilities, phones, and internet add another $900. Total fixed expenses, $7,150. That's $350 more than their take-home pay before buying coffee or going out for dinner. These are not irresponsible people. They simply said yes to every normal step. College, house, cars, kids. Every institution approved the individual decisions, but nobody examined the entire financial picture. And situations like this are incredibly common. Interestingly enough, research once found that two-income households sometimes faced greater bankruptcy risk than single-income families. A second salary adds income, but it also adds daycare costs, commuting, taxes, and convenience spending caused by exhaustion. More importantly, the household structure becomes dependent on both incomes. If one disappears, the system collapses. Another quiet drain on finances is subscriptions. Most people estimate they spend around $80 per month on subscriptions. The real average is closer to $200. Streaming services, delivery memberships, cloud storage, apps that renewed after free trials. Small charges that quietly accumulate. Over 20 years, $2,000 per year invested could grow into nearly $90,000. Then there's the emergency fund, or rather the absence of one. A majority of Americans cannot cover a $1,000 emergency with savings. When something breaks, the cost goes straight onto high-interest credit cards, turning a $3,000 repair into $6,000 or more over time. An emergency fund may not be exciting, but it is the foundation that keeps small problems from becoming financial disasters. Social comparison makes all of this worse. When people learn their peers earn more, they instinctively increase spending on visible things, like cars, clothes, and vacations. Social media has turned neighborhood comparison into global comparison. But here's the reality. Many of the people you're trying to keep up with are financing the lifestyle you see. Nobody posts their credit card statement alongside the beach photo. Another subtle drain is impulse spending. The average person spends hundreds each month on unplanned purchases. Shopping triggers dopamine in the brain, the same reward chemical released during exercise or social interaction. The feeling fades quickly, but the charge remains. Small, frequent purchases that seem harmless can quietly erase hundreds of thousands of dollars in long-term wealth. Then there's the trap of waiting to invest. If someone invests $500 a month starting at age 25, they could reach roughly $1.3 million by retirement. Starting at 35 with the same contribution produces less than half of that amount. Time matters more than almost any other factor. Finally, there's the temptation to outsmart the market.
Day trading, meme stocks, and viral cryptocurrency trends attract millions of people every cycle. Yet the overwhelming majority of active traders underperform simple index funds. The boring investment strategy wins again and again. Low-cost index funds rarely make headlines. They don't create dramatic stories. They simply compound quietly over decades. And that's usually enough. All of these traps share something important. None require reckless behavior. Most simply require you to behave normally. Car payments are normal. Credit card balances are normal. Buying the maximum house you're approved for is normal. But normal today also means millions of people living paycheck to paycheck and carrying enormous debt. Financial independence rarely comes from doing something extraordinary. It often comes from refusing to do what everyone else considers normal. Driving the practical car, buying less house, investing automatically before lifestyle expands. From the outside, those choices might look boring. From the inside, 20 years later, they look like freedom. You don't need to fix
Everything at once. Just identify the trap that felt most familiar while reading this. Start there. That single decision might be where your financial story begins to change.